Holding the racket correctly is one of the most important fundamentals in table tennis. A poor grip can limit not only your control and power, but also your technical development and overall progress as a player. While it may seem simple, learning to hold the racket properly requires more understanding than many people realize. A good grip is defined by its ability to adapt both to the unique characteristics of each player and to the specific demands of every shot or situation. Watch until the end of this video to understand the mechanics of the grip and how to find the one that suits you best. Although there is a wide variety of grip variations, which we'll examine in more detail later, all of them can be grouped into two main styles: the shakehand grip and the penhold grip. The shakehand grip resembles the act of shaking someone's hand. The index finger rests on the backhand rubber, the thumb on the forehand side, and the remaining three fingers wrap around the handle. This grip provides an excellent balance between forehand and backhand strokes, allowing for effective offense and defense on both sides. It is by far the most widely used grip, employed by approximately 90% of players, and in the context of modern table tennis, where the pace of play has increased and the backhand has become increasingly decisive, its popularity has only grown. The penhold grip, on the other hand, resembles the way you hold a pen. The thumb and index finger wrap around the handle, while the remaining fingers rest on the back of the racket. These fingers can either be bent, which generally provides greater wrist mobility, or extended, which provides more support and control during impact. One of the main advantages of using the penhold grip is that it provides greater freedom of movement to the wrist and allows it to move across multiple axes, which enhances spin generation, especially in short and compact strokes. However, one of its main limitations is the backhand coverage, which tends to offer less adjustability and power compared to the shakehand grip. Traditionally, the penhold grip uses only one side of the racket, meaning both forehand and backhand strokes are executed with the same rubber. This allows for smoother transitions between forehand and backhand and provides better coverage of the middle zone. Nowadays, however, many penhold players use the opposite side of the racket for backhand strokes, which enhances some offensive aspects but creates a vulnerable area in the transition between forehand and backhand, similar to the drawback found in the shakehand grip. When a player starts playing table tennis, they must choose between one of these two grip styles and refine it over time. Although the shakehand grip may seem more complete and versatile, players with a particularly skilled wrist or a very aggressive playing style may find more advantages in the penhold grip. Once the grip style has been chosen, changing it later is not recommended unless there is a clear reason, as it requires a deep technical overhaul and rebuilding your entire playing style almost from scratch. That said, it is important to understand that the grip style does not determine a single way of holding the racket, but rather acts as a general framework, within which there are multiple variations and adjustments that can be adapted to the player's needs, the type of stroke, or the specific conditions of the moment. For example, whether using the shakehand or penhold grip style, it's important to distinguish between a high grip and a low grip. In a high grip, the racket is held closer to the rubber, providing greater stability and control, while in the low grip it is held closer to the base of the handle, which increases the leverage effect and allows for more speed and spin, especially in strokes with circular trajectories or those that require greater use of the wrist. Although it is advisable for beginners to start with a higher grip and keep it fixed during rallies, advanced players can use a lower grip and adjust it according to the stroke being executed to better adapt to each situation. For players with a shakehand style, the grip also tends to vary between forehand and backhand strokes. On forehand strokes, many players keep the racket aligned with their wrist, resting it on the webbing between the thumb and index finger, and extending the index finger further over the rubber. In contrast, for backhand strokes, they modify the orientation of the racket by slightly shifting the support towards the index finger and placing the thumb more extended over the rubber, which usually provides greater control. In strokes like serves, the grip can vary even more. It is common to see players remove their lower fingers from the handle and hold the racket only with the thumb and index finger, placing them closer to the edge of the rubber. This adjustment gives them a greater range of motion with their wrist and greater control, which makes it easier to generate spin on many serves. Another very important aspect is the pressure or force with which the racket is held. Generally, a more relaxed grip offers greater mobility and promotes energy transfer, which can increase racket speed and shot power. However, a more rigid grip, applying more pressure with the fingers on the rubber, usually provides greater stability and control, as long as the pressure isn't excessive. During stroke execution, more advanced players do not usually maintain a constant grip pressure, but rather they start the stroke with a looser grip to enhance energy transfer and racket speed, and at the moment of impact they increase the rigidity to improve control over the ball and even increase power. This approach allows them to take advantage of both grips, although it requires good coordination and may vary depending on the type of stroke being performed. Finally, it is important to remember that there is no single perfect way to hold the racket for everyone. The key is to experiment with different grips, use them in different situations, and observe the results for yourself. Only through this individual exploration will you be able to find the grip that suits you best and refine it over time.